Hello again, YouTubers. I'm actually going to be doing something a little bit different today. This is my third video, and what I'm going to do for you guys is actually a tutorial using mostly Makeup Forever products, actually pretty much all Makeup Forever products. And what I'm going to be doing is creating a cut crease, sunset eyes, smoky eye, using the colors you see here. As you can tell, I have one eye done, one eye is not done. Big difference, right? Well, okay, let's get started. I'm not going to start on the details. Basically, for this look, you're going to need, gather up my brushes first, a pointed pencil brush, just a fluffy eyeshadow brush for blending and highlighting, a wide artificial haired brush for the eyeshadow base, and also a densely packed natural hair brush that we're going to use to actually pack on the colors. In addition to the brushes, you'll need MAC's Painterly Paint Pot, great neutral base and matte, Makeup Forever's Smoky Lash Mascara, which is basically one of my favorite mascaras. It's one I use a lot. Makeup Forever Aqua Liner, color is 4L, and it's actually a purple color. We're going to use that to cut the crease. To line, I have Makeup Forever's color liner. The color is purple, and I believe the number is 26. Then in addition to that, we're going to actually use the colors. Let me show you. I have to actually pull them out of my palette here. We have two, which is basically our matte yellow color right here. It's the only drawback to having these large palettes. They're not exactly easy to show. But for the coral color that you see, which is actually a main proponent to the look, we're going to use number 5, which is really an amazing color. It's right here, and it is a matte coral. Definitely reminds you of that nighttime sunset on the beach. Last but not least, we're going to have the purples that are featured in this look, and that would be number 9, which is right here in the corner. And then, of course, 92, which is a color that everybody knows and loves. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab my Painterly Paint Pot. And an important thing to remember when you're using paint pots is when you're done with them to close them very, very tightly, because if you don't, they're going to dry out. I've lost many a paint pot to drying issues. But basically all you're going to do is pack this onto the lid. Very simple, very straightforward. And Painterly is actually pretty darn amazing. It is an awesome neutral base. It's matte. It's not going to alter the color of your eyeshadow. And for that purpose, it's actually my go-to whenever I'm creating something more dramatic. And I don't want it to compete with the colors that I'm going to be putting on top. So we're done with that. We're done with our Painterly. Now we're going to go ahead and apply the colors. We're going to start with the yellow, which is number 2. I'll grab that over here. I actually have the palette sitting in front of me in case you can't see it. But I'm just going to take my densely packed brush, and I'm going to sort of smush it into the color. I don't really want to wipe it across. I want to make sure I get a decent payoff. If you could tell, there it is. And the purpose of the yellow is basically lay the base. It's going to be sitting very, very close to our lash line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack it on almost like I would pack on a liner. It's going to be very close to the lid, rather very close to the lash line. It's not going to go, you know, up to the crease or anything crazy like that. We're just going to keep it very, very basic. And I actually have my mirror to the side, which is why I keep looking off to the side. But all I am doing here is just applying a line of yellow close to my lash line. I also like to bring it underneath the waterline and in the corner. And as you can tell, it's nothing fancy. We're not being super duper neat here because it's not important. We're going to go over it essentially anyway. So now what I'm going to do, I'm tapping my brush of the excess, and I'm going to take the same brush, just the other side, and I'm going to dip it into my coral color, which is my number 5 right behind here. Again, same thing, just sort of smushing it in. I wish you guys could see how bright and vivid this color is. I highly recommend it if any of you are building your Makeup Forever eyeshadow collection, because it's an amazing color to have. Not quite orange, not quite pink, sort of in between the two. And for this particular look, it's just an amazing color that complements so well. But what I'm going to do now is, this one's actually going to go up to my crease, because as you could tell, this is the main color in the look. And what I'm doing is I'm just patting it on. Very simple. And again, I'm not going to worry too much because I am going to go over with more coral when I'm eventually going to be done with this look. Okay, next step. As you can tell, this is very quick and dirty. I'm not showing you the face makeup. I'm going to go into another tutorial on how to do my face makeup at another time. Lips we're going to keep fairly basic as well, so that's not really super important, super essential. Okay, so we're done with our coral. Now what I'm going to do is pick up my pencil point brush, and we're going to actually work on our crease. Actually, no. First off, what we're going to do is pick up our liner, because we're going to cut the crease before we do anything else. Order of operation, guys, very, very important. Okay, so basically, I'm sure you've seen 1,000,001 different tutorials on cutting the crease. Everybody does it differently. For me, the easiest way to do it is to use the liner, only because you get a pretty definitive, pinpointed line. So, what I'm going to do, actually, wrong eye, is I'm going to create a little tail here, as you can see, and this is going to be my guideline for how far I'm going to go out into the crease. And essentially the easiest way for me to do this is to pull my eye a little bit and look up. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and trace a line going all the way from my outer corner to my inner corner. And basically you want the liner to sit in the socket, basically where the indentation is on your eye. Even this doesn't have to be super fancy, guys, because again, we are going to go over all of these lines and soften them up with our eyeliner brush. Okay, so for the most part, I am now done. My crease is cut, as you can tell, right here. Not going to go too crazy once more on the line.